What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about Shadow of the Tomb Raider's graphics. Now, I know what I labeled this video, or I titled this video as, and I do want to talk about how bad the graphics are, quote unquote. Now, here's the thing. I do want to say this right in the very beginning of the video. I am not saying these graphics look absolutely terrible. I'm not saying this is PS3, PS2, or Xbox 360, or whatever quality. I do want to say that right from the beginning, that I'm not bashing this game in that way. I'm not saying they're overly terrible. What I am saying, and what I do want to say over the next couple videos I make of Tomb Raider, is how just subpar this game really is. And I definitely wasn't expecting it to be this subpar. I was reading a lot of reviews, a lot of people's impressions of this game as it was getting closer to coming out, and not feeling the best about this game the more and more I read. And so instead of doing videos like a tips and tricks and like a best skills, we may actually do that depending on what happens when I play this game over the next little while. But I want to talk about some of those aspects of the game and kind of just talk about this game in general, in regards to maybe it being the last Tomb Raider game, what this franchise, this trilogy has done, comparing it maybe with Uncharted, doing things like this. But to start off, I do want to talk about its graphics, because the graphics was a major thing that I was reading leading into this game. I was reading that it had a lot of problems in terms of environment, in terms of lighting, in terms of how it looked, in terms of lip syncing, which the opening cinematic still has major lip syncing problems, even though the patch, the day one patch, has in fact, for me, been updated and been installed into the game. So it actually didn't fix that. Overall, though, in terms of all the cutscenes, it does seem to have fixed that issue. But in terms of the first cutscene, it didn't. Now, when I talk about this game's graphics, I am just actually amazed at just how it doesn't look good at all. And to be honest, it always looked like this, and I just always wanted to believe that the final version was going to be just a tad better. I remember seeing this at E3, and I remember even Tyler telling me, like, this game looks super unfinished. And the one thing that really made it look unfinished is just how bad it looked graphically. It didn't look good in terms of how visuals. And that is the same way now. It does again, does it look like it's PS3? Does it look like it's 8 years old, 9 years old? No, but it does look like it's 5, 6, 7 years old. Again, I'm going to be comparing this a lot in the next couple of videos to Uncharted. I think because of what these two games are and the demographic they're going for, and really just how similar they are in a lot of ways, I think it's very fair to compare it. I only want to compare it to the graphics, and that is maybe a little unfair because you are comparing a game to a Naughty Dog game, which arguably the greatest developer, on the planet. As of right now, I truly believe Naughty Dog is the best. So when you compare it like that, it's not exactly fair. But here's the thing. Uncharted came out in May of 2016. That is 2.5 years ago. The last Tomb Raider game came out in 2015, the fall, which was only 6 months before that Uncharted. And so when we look at this game, this Shadow of the Tomb Raider, the graphics look very subpar. They don't look nearly as good as Uncharted 4. And Uncharted 4, again, is a 2.5-year-old game. We can compare it, I guess, to God of War, which could be the new graphical standout game that we compare games to in terms of how they look. I think that's very fair. I think God of War does look better in a lot of ways to Uncharted 4, but I'll compare it to Uncharted 4 for now. You could also compare it to Spider-Man. You can compare it to Detroit. You can compare it to a lot of different games. But this game doesn't even look as good as Uncharted 4, which is a game that came out 2.5 years ago. The visuals, the textures, in terms of Lara Croft herself, she looks like perfect, quote unquote, but perfect in the way that her face is flat. There's no features to her face. There's no features to anybody's face. There's no textures to anything, and they look blurry and unfinished, and just the way this game overall looks does not look good. The water graphics early on in the game, there's kind of like a tsunami that hits, and in terms of like how much fun it is, that part is maybe the only fun part of the first 2 hours of the game, but even that, the water mechanics and how the water looks just doesn't look good. The water looks like Uncharted 3's water, and Uncharted 3 came out in 2011, so we are talking about some old features here. The game overall just seems like it's an older game. Nothing looks like it's modern day. And so again, do the graphics look 10 years old? No, but are they even as good as games that came out 3 years ago? Do they even look as good as that? No, this game looks like it came out in 2014. That's what this game looks like, which is very sad because it's 2018. Again, we're comparing it, although it's multi-console and it's coming out, in the fall period, we've had games this year that have looked outstanding. Again, God of War and Spider-Man, let's say. So especially for me, who has been playing a lot of Spider-Man over the past couple days and this past week, because Spider-Man came out last week, I'm used to seeing a top level game. Now, Spider-Man isn't the best looking game that's ever come out, but it is visually really, really nice. I mean, the color scheme to it, how everything looks, swinging around the city, even the character models during cutscenes, they look very, very good. So now we look at Tomb Raider coming out just a week later, and it's like, this is night and day. These don't even look close to each other. And again, that's just like the first thing that I find wrong with this game. And over the next couple videos, I do want to talk about some of those problems and talk about Tomb Raider as a franchise and what this trilogy has done. Overall, I'm very not impressed with this game at all. I think it's a very okay game, and I saw Greg Miller write this in a tweet that that's what this game kind of is, and I totally agree with him. This is an all-right and okay game, and in terms of this year, which we've just had so many amazing games, and we're about to get more amazing games. I mean, we already had Spider-Man, which is an amazing game. We're getting Assassin's Creed, which could be an amazing game. We're getting Red Dead, which could be amazing. We're getting Battlefield. We're getting Call of Duty. You know, we're getting Fallout. We're getting Smash Bros. We're getting all these games. An okay game like Tomb Raider doesn't exactly fit in when we're dealing with all of these great games. It kind of falls subpar. And again, that's, I think, what the graphics do to me too. It doesn't look terrible, but you noticeably can tell that things aren't on the same pace and page as the other games that have come out this year. Just nothing looks as good, and it is noticeable. Maybe it wouldn't have been if it came out at a different time, or if this year hadn't been this good, but it has been, and you do notice these things. So this is just the first video. I want to make more videos. Let me know in the comments below, guys, what do you think of Tomb Raider's graphics? What do you think of Shadow of the Tomb Raider in general? Do you think it's holding up? Do you think it's even a good game? Let me know. Again, we're going to do more videos throughout the next couple days as this game just gets released, and we're going to be covering it on the channel in different kind of ways, different kind of videos than I think we normally would do. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Podcast Now, and I will see you on the next Tomb Raider video.